Andy McComb, lifetime partners. He wrote it.
We met over a dead body in the dissection room in TV Place.
And now we're going to die on stage in front of a larger, but possibly less lively audience.
And now the news.
We are dreadfully sad to report that earlier this evening, Andy Kerr, former reader in anatomy, was bitten by a mad dog.
After being given antibiotics and a tetanus toxoid booster, the dog has been allowed home.
I'm sorry, Gregor, that joke is as implausible as Callum McRae's American accent. We initially planned to do an A to Z of the history of Edinburgh medicine. A for Addison, the inventor of steroids. B for Bell and his famous palsy. And Sherlock Holmes, Gregor. C for Collies, who breaks old ladies' wrists. All the way through to Dr. Pavel Zdedovich, Tony Natch's great uncle, graduated from the Polish Medical School in the Old Quadrangle in 1944. However, apparently that sort of routine didn't go down too well when delivered by U2B at the last reunion. So, we are men on a mission tonight, Gregor. Indeed we are. That mission is to score less complaints than U2B managed 5 years ago. He wrote it. More news. A Scottish government report has concluded that there is a shortage of hospital beds in Edinburgh. That's right, Gregor. 30 years ago, when we graduated, there were 14 hospitals with inpatient beds in Edinburgh. Now there's only 7. And as any Dundee graduate would tell you, that's a 17% reduction in Yes, Gregor, with all these hospitals, you'd have had to be Mark Bonas not to get a house job in Edinburgh in those days. Yes, as Professor Flemley once said, Bonas, house job in the Royal, give him 50 quid and he couldn't get a hand job in the pubic triangle. Breaking news, Gregor. After a series of vicious assaults in the Glasgow area, Chief Inspector McTavish has announced that he's looking for a man with one eye. And if he doesn't find him, he's going to use both eyes. Obviously, the highlight of the evening was the keynote speech by Professor Maxwell Sheldrake Watson. A man so modest that his recently published autobiography doesn't mention him. Lothians and Border Police have announced tonight that they wish to interview a man wearing high heels and a red bask. The Chief Constable, however, has insisted that he wears standard police uniform. Alistair Convery has long been scheduled to do stand-up routine this evening, apparently inspired by U2B's efforts last night. But the sad news is that he's up at Doonray, so he can't be doing here. And we have just heard that on the city bypass, a cement mixer has collided with a van from Saughton Prison. Motorists have been asked to be on the lookout for 16 hardened criminals. If you don't like it, U2B is still available.
announcements on 7-day working, Tony Nats has signed up to this innovation.
Yes, Gregor. He's checked his 2016 diary and he's penciled in which 7 days he's going to be working. But in fairness to Tony and Sean, they've put in a huge amount of work organising the reunion, and we are most happy, grateful and appreciative.
Unlike the majority of their patients. Some of our classmates are facing the consequences of austerity this weekend.
Yes, Gregor. Stuart Rockow and Ian Chalmers are joining us after the food is finished in order to avoid paying for dinner. Cheapskate.
News from India. Dr. Andrew Beale's uncle, Sir Henry Stickleback Wheelbarrow Succinyl Dehydrogenase Beale, the famous big game hunter who was celebrated for his slogan, "Shoot him between the eyes and you'll always get the prize," was eaten alive last night.
By two one-eyed tigers walking arm in arm.
Almost eminent respiratory physician Dougie Morrison, age 54, has claimed that smoking has taken 13 years off his life.
He says that if he hadn't smoked when he was younger, he'd now be 67.
Retired, entirely good for nothing, waste of skin part-time GP Sean Austin has expressed considerable disillusionment with his environment of long waiting times, untrained and disinterested staff, aggressive managers, and a high chance of assault and dysentery.
Yes, Gregor. He has now stopped going to McDonald's for his tea.
Sporting medicine guru Duncan Robertson, who we all know his catchphrase is since he graduated, "Don't call me Spearman," has been in the news today after claiming that athletes indulge in too much sex before meetings.
This was categorically denied by Wesley Blunt, who triumphed in the 100 metres meeting at Crystal Palace on an impressive time of 8 minutes and 45 seconds.
Recent research by Professor Johnny Morris has shown that a woman gives birth to a baby every 3 seconds.
Yes, Gregor, we've got to find that woman and stop her. We're glad Dougie McGilvery has made it through tonight from his practice in a nondescript hellhole in West Lothian.
Yes, having a pleasant evening in the Balmoral, Dougie is now aware that a canopy isn't just a urological complaint in Whitmer. Sorry.
Professor Sir Mark Ahrens has responded angrily to allegations that pathologists are a bit boring and organise stupid times for anatomy museum tours.
Yes, in a raging outburst, he said, "Actually, to be fair, we're not actually that boring. You know, what about that Hugh Toomey guy?"
In Edinburgh Sheriff Court today, gentleman farmer, 85-year-old Adrian Brady, has divorced his 22-year-old wife because he couldn't keep his hands off her.
He has now stopped, sacked all his hands and bought a high combine harvester instead.
Well, that's all we've got time for tonight, Gregor, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And if you liked our routine, we're the Two Gregors.
And if you didn't like it, we're YouTube.